Easy hair today. Hey,
Hi, how you doing?
yeah, not bad.
Good.
Just turn down the sound a little bit. I've got some crazy hair noise thing going on here.
Uh,
Um, yeah, how are you going?
I'm doing okay. Thanks for
Yeah,
having me. Thanks for having me on.
yeah,
Yeah.
no worries. It's like such a like I think we've crossed paths online like a bazillion times,
Yeah.
but we never actually got to like speak. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. I was gonna say like you've like been, I guess like a, a punk for forever, like and DIY and like you have more bands than almost anyone I know,
Huh.
and I've done so many collabs and like it's pretty next level. And you started out. I remember reading that you were like 15, I think, with your
Yeah.
first touring band.
Yeah. Yeah. 15 was my first show and my first tour. So yeah.
Yeah, and that was I'm trying to remember what
It's okay, I can tell you.
you can tell me. There's so many. I was like, oh, um, yeah. So that was the very first one. So you were just 15 at the time, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah, it was weird
Um,
because like I would I still was in high school and like I would we would like only tour well, I mean we toured like in the winter and then in the summer, like when we had breaks in school and that was I stayed in high school. So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
It was
because I read that you had a bit of a like you had like a bit of trouble with your stepdad and stuff, and so you moved out, and I know your father was shot, was it?
yeah.
Yeah,
No, he wasn't
I'm
shot, but he was killed.
killed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so yeah, it was
yeah,
weird. So
but
yeah, I
you
mean
managed to like stay in school and like everything,
it's
which
pretty
is
pretty pretty weird. I mean, in retrospect, I don't know how I pulled it off. Like,
mm,
it was the whole thing was totally bizarre because, like, I would steal a lot, and then also like I got some money from Social Security, from my dad's life insurance policy. So I
hmm
had a little bit of money to survive, and I lived on my own since I was 16, and it was. I mean, it was cool, I guess. I mean, it was better than like
yeah,
living in my house with my mom's boyfriend beating me, you know. So I was
yeah,
like,
exactly, yeah,
yeah, and then just like I think like music was like my thing, like, and it wasn't even like really learning the instrument or something like that. It was kind of just like this community that was like a thing that I was a part of, and I realized like, oh, I could like achieve these certain things, like play in far away distances and whatever, and like put out
yeah,
records and stuff. So I just started doing
yeah,
it.
yeah, and like it's just like yeah, I mean it's a crazy story because very few people would still like, you kept going to school, you were playing, and then I think, you went on and then did Swing Kids, and of course Locust, which I love, and Some Girls, which I was a massive fan of. Um, and then you had RETOX, like you've got so many bands, it's
Yeah,
next level. And then
but I
of
mean,
course your record label,
over like a long period of time, it's not that
that
crazy
much,
to
yeah.
me. I mean, also too, like, I mean, when I first started playing music at 15, like, I'd only been on this planet for 15 years, so like
Yeah,
2 years seems like forever. I mean, that's like
yeah,
what,
yeah,
like a whatever that is, like a seventh or an eighth, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
so it's
yeah,
like a
it's a
seventh of my time.
minuscule of your life, yeah.
Yeah, so like two years is like a good thing, and then move on to the next thing, and But I mean, like the one band that stuck was the Locust. I mean, we started that
Mm,
when I was 19, and I'm still in it. So,
yeah,
but yeah,
and it's great. Like, yeah, it's like still one of my favorites, and I know so many people who are huge fans.
thanks.
And the same with Head Wound City. Like, um, as well with like Nick Zinner, and yeah, I was just like going through, and like you've just got so many like amazing projects, and with amazing people as
Yeah,
well. Like, so you've
yeah.
been incredibly lucky, like
I
that
have
you've
some
been
I have some
a.
cool yeah, I have some cool ass friends, that's for sure.
Yeah, and then like when you were doing like session stuff and all that kind of stuff, like you know, you've sort of like, you've just like had this really like kind of rocky start, and then it's just like all come together for you in a really rad way. I think like I mean obviously there's shit all the way, but the whole way through you've always remained like really DIY and really true to who you are. And yesterday I was interviewing King Dude, and
Mm.
he went off the charts when I mentioned that I was talking to you today.
Ah.
Because he was like, that guy is fucking so punk. He's been punk since before there was punk. Like, you know, he's like loved, like he was just raving about how you are the legit shit, you know?
Oh, cool.
And like so he was, and I was like, yeah, it's really awesome. I'm looking forward like to speaking to him. And then of course, you've got Dead Cross,
Uh-huh.
and like, you know, you had Gabe was originally the vocalist, obviously. But then you've got like Mike Patton. I mean, that's fucking next level. And then Dave Lombardo as
Yeah.
well. That's like so surreal. Like,
Yeah.
and but you've worked a little bit with Ipecac Records in the past. So
Yeah.
how
I
did it
mean,
come?
it's not
How
that
did you? How
it's
did
not
you
that
get?
it's not that weird how it worked. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
like I have a friend, Kid 606, who put out some stuff on Ipecac, and he's from San Diego, and so for so long he kept saying like to Patton, like, hey, you got to hear the Locust, you got to hear the Locust. And eventually whatever happened, and I remember like Tomahawk was playing in San Diego or something, and like Patton and me and Gabe like went out like and got burritos and stuff, you know, and like kind of shot the shit. And then he ended up putting out the Locust, Safety Second, Body Last. And then the Locust toured with Phantomas, and then
Oh, that would have been
then
cool.
RETOX. Then they put out RETOX because we were like kind of
Yeah.
already, you know, in the family. And then RETOX toured with Tomahawk. So it was like, it's not like that bizarre. So everyone always
Bizarre.
like,
Yeah.
I mean, everyone always asks like, how is it being in a band with Dave and Mike? And you're like, I mean, it's fucking rad, but they're like my homies, you know. Like it
Yeah,
wasn't
it's
like
not that weird. Yeah, because didn't you meet Dave in like when you were doing session stuff?
yeah. So that's how Dead Cross started, was like through a session that we were doing for someone else, and then we
Yeah,
just kind of put something together. And the goal of Dead Cross was only going to be like 3 shows, and then it became
yeah,
like 9 shows or something, and then you know a record and stuff, and then we got Patton in the band because Gabe quit. So like, I mean, it's not like we won the lot. I mean, we won the lottery in many different ways in life, but you
yeah,
know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't like, I don't know, like, I don't think like I have the right resume for anything I do. You know,
yeah, yeah,
they're just like a couple things. Like, I mean, these are my friends, or like also like these are my friends, and I'm like at the right time, you know, right place or
right time
whatever,
and
I
place. Yeah,
guess. Because you
yeah,
know, before Patton joined Dead Cross, we were like talking to Travis Ryan to see if he'd be this from Cattle Decapitation, to see if he'd be the singer when Gabe was going to leave and stuff. So
yeah,
like, we kind of had like, we were just going to see what would happen, you know, and
yeah,
something happened, you know, and whatever.
yeah. I was like, it's like one of those like bands that I can just keep going back to.
Hmm. We're
And
getting
like,
better.
yeah, yeah, you are. I mean,
No,
not
I
that you
mean,
were
you don't
ever
know this
bad, but
yet. You don't know yet, but we are getting better. We wrote a new record and stuff. So
oh, awesome. Yeah, because you just released the cover, didn't you?
yeah, that
Yeah,
was just like something we did last week, but or maybe it was 2 weeks ago. Anyhow, we recently just did it. But yeah,
yeah,
we have a new record that's almost done. It's almost done except for vocals, but yeah, it'll be done hopefully at some point soon, and then that will be our best record as a band. So
as a band.
yeah,
Awesome. I'm looking
yeah,
forward to it.
yeah.
That'd be super rad. Yeah, because I like so the cover came out and I was like, that's fucking cool.
Ah, yeah,
Like,
man. Yeah.
so I was like, yeah. So yeah, that'll be like a massive thing. And then like with you're still going with all the other bands. What's happening on the front with everything else?
So the Locust was writing very very slowly, and then the pandemic happened, so we quit writing.
Yeah,
So I haven't seen those guys in a long time. I saw Gabe occasionally because we have a rehearsal space at my house, and so Gabe came by to get something, but I haven't seen the other guys since whenever this shit started, 3 months
yeah,
ago,
yeah,
or whatever. So
yeah,
but you know that'll happen. And then I've been constantly working on new Planet B stuff, and
Yeah,
also new Def Club stuff. So
the club.
those are like the four bands. But then with Planet B, we're doing like this kind of like other project called Satanic Planet, and so we've been finalizing that record. We have an album that's coming out, so
Hmm.
which also now has Dave Lombardo in it too. So it's
Oh.
been like it's yeah. I mean the same
You can
kind of
just
thing. It's
chuck them
like
in, interchange.
kind of, like we were working on a bunch of tracks. It's not like a normal band, and so we had Jung Sing from Silent, and we had Travis Ryan from Cattle Decapitation, and a couple people just kind of like on certain tracks. And so our idea was to ask Dave to play on one song, and then so we sent
Yeah.
it to him, and he was really psyched on it. And he was like, "Hey, like the pandemic thing is going on. Like I have time. Just send me in. I'll do another one." And we're like, "Oh shit, all right." And so then now he's on the whole record, so he's like kind of
Yeah.
like in the band.
Yeah. He's just, yeah, now he's there. It
Yeah,
kind of seems like that's happening with everyone during the pandemic. Like they're working on like albums, or they're just like getting together, and all this really rad shit is coming together.
yeah,
So it's kind of like I don't know. It's just like everyone's just pent up, and so it's a really
yeah,
good time
sure,
to
yeah.
like get everything like out and
Well,
like
I'm pretty fortunate because Luke Henshaw from Planet B, it has a studio like a couple miles from my house, so I get to go there and work with him a lot. But he's also busy doing a bunch of other stuff too. But
yeah,
so we've been like knocking out like the Satanic Planet stuff and the Planet B stuff, and hopefully he's going to help work on some of the Def Club record and stuff. So we, there is a lot going on. But like with that being said, like I've had 4 tours get canceled, and it's
yeah,
just that kind of sucks. So
yeah. That's like the worst thing ever. It's just like so many canceled tours.
yeah, it's wild. I mean, at first it was like 1, and I'm like, okay, and then 2, and now 4, and it's like, all right, like my agent's kind of like, oh, we're doing this thing in 2021. I'm just like, dude, first of all, I don't even know what the date is today. Like, I don't know what day. Like, I always
Yeah,
think, is it Saturday, Monday? What is it? And then
yeah,
like,
yeah. Because you
so
just lose complete track now. Like it gets to, like when it used to get to Friday, you'd know everyone would be like, yeah, Friday, yeah.
yeah,
Now it's like, who gives a fuck? It's the same as yesterday. It's the same
yeah,
as yesterday, and Monday's going to be the same.
yeah,
It's just like every day is like kind of a weekend day of.
yeah,
So I really don't have any clue. Like I like have to check constantly my phone and computer to be like, fuck,
yeah,
what am I? What the fuck? Where am I? What day is it?
yeah.
Because it's yeah, like at the moment, it's like I have like just personal shit that I'm doing, and then working on these things and stuff. So it's like, yeah, I don't have like I'm not going to a job or anything. So it's like
Uh,
no concept of time whatsoever. Um, so with like the Planet B and everything, are you putting them out on 31G?
I don't know. I mean, the last Planet B record was on Ipecac, and so I mean, I don't know. I mean, we're still like pretty like far from getting that record done. But with the Satanic Planet record, I don't know who's gonna put it out yet. I
Put
mean,
it
I
out,
think
yeah,
I think it's like it's hard to wrap my head around it, and I think it's probably hard for most labels to wrap their heads around it because it's not a real like it's not a normal band. Like, so it's not
yeah,
like we could say like, oh, this is what you've done, or like this is what we can expect, because it doesn't sound like anything that I can't
that
like
you can put
I
your
can't
finger
compare
on.
it to anything, which is good, I think. But like,
Yeah,
so it's kind of hard. But then with the fact that they're, like some of the guest people on it, and also that, now that Dave's in the band and stuff, there is like I think a little bit more industry value, I guess, or something.
yeah.
So we'll see what happens. But
That
I mean,
horrible term, super group.
sure. But the crazy thing is too, like I don't know, like Lucian from the Satanic Temple. I don't know, like I get it. Like he's like a big, he's a celebrity in his own realm or whatever, because like when we were recording, we would just like cruise down the street to go get coffee or something, and people would like come out of stores to talk to him and shit, and it was
Oh
like,
wow,
I was
yeah,
like, wow, this is weird. Like, I mean, I get it because of the movie Hail Satan. When it came out, it was like
yeah.
it was
So
like
everyone knows
a
now.
big film, and I think that's what put him on mine and Luke's radar for sure. Like seeing that film and like, oh shit, there's this dude, like I didn't really know much about the Satanic Temple before that
Started.
film came out. So, but anyhow, like, so there's like this, so he already has like this built-in audience, you know, which I
Yeah.
don't know, like, it's not like people would be like, oh, we dig his art or his music or something. They're just like, oh,
Yeah.
he's the guy from the Satanic Temple.
Yeah, he's
Like,
a satanic guy.
that's like another kind of like fan
That's
base
a
that I can't even wrap my head around. It's like, you can
yeah.
like talk about me and be like, oh, you've done all these things, we can expect something in this sort of like genre or what or
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
you know. But like with him, you're just like, what the fuck is this, you know?
Yeah,
So,
like what is he gonna yeah.
yeah.
Because you just
So
have nothing to kind of yeah, there's nothing to
yeah,
compare it to.
I will say he writes some insanely awesome lyrics. Like I was
Cool.
blown away. Like he'd just be there in the studio, like, you know, writing shit down and be like, okay, I got this. And I'm like, what the fuck, man? Like, where did that come from? That's really rad, you know? So like that would happen every day when we were in the studio. And there's like so many, and so much of the lyrics are like just, they transcend beyond like what like his, you know, like his ideologies or the principles of the Satanic Temple. It's something much bigger. And that was
Yeah,
like
yeah.
where like the rest of us in the band could, you know, sort of latch onto and get behind and make it something unique, I suppose, and honest from
Yeah,
all of
yeah.
us. So yeah.
So how did you kind of even get involved with him, like to do a musical thing when
Yeah,
it's
well,
not like he's not known for music,
no.
obviously. So
So
it's like how do you
yeah, there was like last, I guess Halloween or something. There was a thing that came out. It was like a publication put a thing out about him, like his top 10 like spooky songs or something like that,
something
you
like that?
know.
Yeah,
And I had just seen the film, and Dead Cross was on it, and I was like, oh shit, like that's so rad. Like I really think that
yeah,
guy's awesome. I was floored by the documentary, and so then I don't know how it came about, but I just like I just hit him up like on like social media or something, and was like, hey man, I thanks, you know, for like being into Dead Cross, and I really enjoyed the film, and I'm psyched on like what, you know, the Satanic Temple's about. And then someone in the conversation on you know, like the comments is like, you should have him on your podcast. And I was like, oh, but they were talking about like having us on his podcast. So
hmm
anyhow, I was like, hey, do you want to be on our podcast? It's called Cult and Culture. And so Luke and I went to the Church of Satan and did the podcast there. And then he did his podcast with us there as well. So we had like a double podcast thing happen. And then when we left and went back home to San Diego, and I was like, man, like we should do this thing. And like in Luke's studio, there's this like Anton LaVey from the Church of Satan had like
yeah,
yeah, he did this record and it was like the Satanic Mass, and it's like it's pretty like campy, and like it's like all like spooky organ music and
Oregon, yeah,
stuff. And I think it's awesome, but I was like, man, we should do something like that with Lucian, but like next level or like modern, you know, sounding
yeah,
stuff. So we kind of hit him up, and he was like, oh fuck yeah. And I was, the whole time I'm shocked, because I was like, I thought he was very welcoming for us to come to the temple, and he like showed us all around Salem, and it was awesome. And then for him to be like, oh well, you should be on my podcast thing, and then for him to be like, oh yeah, let's do a record, and then I'll just cruise out to San Diego and like start recording, and we're just like, what the fuck. And it,
yeah,
you know, it was weird and weird for all of us to like find I think like our skin as far as like a musical project. Like where do we feel comfortable? What are we doing? And it took a life upon itself that I didn't, or it took to a life that we didn't like really expect in any way at all, you know. And so
yeah,
like if you think about like where we kind of come from musically, it makes sense. But yeah, it's pretty unique so far. And even with Dave's involvement, like you know, like the track we hit him up about, like kind of seemed like it needed some, you know, like double kick and like kind of a lot of tom stuff and very
yeah.
Lombardo. And then as a joke, I was like, we should sit on this like kind of like lo-fi like piece that we were working on, where we wanted like someone to like play like pots and pans and shit. It'd be like so funny
Yeah,
to be like featuring Dave Lombardo, and it's like dink dink dink, you know, or like some shit
yeah,
or whatever. And so then he started like working on more of the stuff and sending it to us, and it's like his contribution made the songs more like musically like, or like a theatrical music, or I don't know, like a theatrical movie trailer. It has like this,
yeah.
it like wasn't like, with the like riot. It wasn't like drum like you would think of Dave Lombardo. And so I was like, this is fucking rad, because he's really into like industrial music and stuff too. So there's a lot of like strange sort of synth stuff, and like a lot of really weird drone-y kind of like heavy. I don't know. It's totally unique. So I'm looking forward to people hearing it.
Yeah. Do you have a timeline for that? Like when we're gonna hear something?
Yeah. So there's a song online actually, but it's without Dave. Because we were gonna tour right away. Sort of glad it didn't happen, but we were gonna tour right away, and so we released the song, and it's way better now. But anyhow, it's done now, and we sent it to the guy that's mixing and mastering it. So it's kind of in his hands. And then once that gets done, we're gonna shop it around to labels and see what happens. So we're looking at like a 2021 release, but I don't know when or where or whatever.
Yeah. That sounds like a really exciting, weird, different like thing. So it's and then like not being like, it must have been strange, like learning all like all of the the satanic stuff, like as well, like not knowing like that stuff, and then like being like, hey, and then all of a sudden having the guy from Church of Satan, and he's like, and you don't really know what all that sort of shit, and you can just ask him straight up like, what's this, what's that,
Well, so okay, so it's not the Church of Satan, it's the Satanic Temple.
Temple. I always get
but for the most part, like we went and did this podcast, and the podcast is like pretty long. It's probably like an hour and 45 minutes or something, but we hung out like all day long, and we had also like had already seen the film and stuff, so it wasn't kind of like, hey, tell me about your thoughts on this, because we kind of already knew what was up. And so like I think I think the only like sort of weird thing was like pushing Lucian into like recording vocals. Like I think he was like, his delivery, he was like hesitant, and it's not like you just throw me in a vocal booth and I'll just go scream a bunch of shit and I'm fine with it. I think he was kind of like not knowing like how to do it, the actual physical part of singing.
Of singing,
And so it was weird, because as it went on, it was like, oh shit, there's your voice. We got you got this, man. Like, the lyric thing was like already done. He's a great writer and stuff.
Yeah, but it's like figuring out that vocal sound.
Yeah, or a way to deliver it, like how do you, sonically articulate yourself? Like, what range, or I don't know. Like there was so many weird things to like, I think for him to wrap his head around. He did it. So it's rad.
Yeah, it sounds super cool. Like, it'd be interesting to see it like actually when it's done. And I was gonna say, like, on top of like your music and stuff, like you've also you've written 2 books. You've done some acting, and like you were in Compressor by Asia Argento, and I had a friend like send me again. I'd totally forgotten about it, but send me the old Jerry Springer, and I was like, "Fuck!" Like, and he was like, "You have to ask him how that happened." But like that whole Jerry thing. Like, I used to watch Jerry religiously, but like,
I'm sorry,
it's so ridiculous. But like, so did you like? Because it's all like majority, it's all fake and just shit like that. So like, did you get paid and like all that kind of stuff for doing that?
So no, it's not all fake. Ours was.
I know some of it's true, yeah, but there are some.
Yeah, it's weird because like online you can't see our whole episode, but before we went on, there was like this biker couple, and they were like the real deal. The dude was like super brutal, and he had a cast on his arm. He had like already had a broken arm, and he was there, and his girlfriend was telling him that she was cheating, and it was like the gnarliest thing because I was in the green room and you could watch what was happening. And so
what was happening? Yeah.
she's like, oh, I'm sleeping with someone or whatever the fuck it was, you know. And he's like, who is it? And he kind of like cracks his knuckles. It's like, you know. And I was like,
Yeah.
dude, his arm is already broken. And and then the dude comes out and he fucked him up. Like, and I was like, this is not fake.
Not fake. Yeah. Yeah, because you can see like majority is real, like, you know, craziness, and then you have like all of these, you know, like weird ones where it's like, you know, and then you see other ones, you know, all those like you know, Geraldo and like all those other shows where like musicians and stuff have been on it. Like I remember when Marilyn Manson was on one of those shows, and like, you know, and they're really funny to look back on, and like, you know, the Party Monster guy was on one and whatever. But yeah, I'd totally forgotten about that. And you're like so young and like, you know, got your little punk hair and all that stuff.
Well, they were really stressing that we looked punk. So we like tried.
Went extra, yeah.
Yeah, like
someone saying
we looked pretty silly, so that was like, but that was the goal, you know. So.
Yeah. It's funny.
Except Scott, he didn't look silly, which was crazy. The other guy, like, he just looked like a regular dude, but whatever. I mean, it made it for what it was.
For whatever it was, yeah. So like, what I was gonna say, in terms of like, I guess, yeah, like I said, you know, you've got the acting and writing as well. Like, is writing anything that you like wanna visit again, or?
I had more time. It's weird because I do most of it on my computer, and I'm totally going blind looking at computer screen. I am losing my eyesight, and also like I just don't have a lot of time. And right now I have like tons of lyrics to write, so I just get like kind of thrashed like in my mind. I'm like, fuck, I have to write all these lyrics for Def Club and Planet B, and like you know, I was talking to Patton too about like Dead Cross stuff, and he wants me to help write lyrics and sing on it too. And I'm like, dude, I just have so much shit. So I mean, as much as I want to write a story,
you got too much shit.
Yeah.
And
also like right now there's like plenty of stuff to write about. Like this world's super fucked up. Like it's really easy to find shit to write about. So anyhow, yeah, but I want to write more. The thing is, like with the books I wrote, like when I wrote From the Graveyard of the Arousal Industry, it was like this collection of stories, and my first time writing, and then I wrote my second book, which was How to Lose Friends and Irritate People, and it was about a specific thing. Like it was 2 short stories, and it was about electronic dance music, and that was a thing. So you know, and then I published a third book, The Race to Zero, which is all my lyrics up until like a couple of years ago, and then like some short stories and stuff. But I really would like to write like a specific story, sort of like the one, you know, like about how to lose friends and irritate people, like something that's like specific about a thing. So like
a thing, yeah.
I don't know, like I just have to like find that thing again. I mean, there's shit that's actually come up where I'm like, oh, I could totally write a book about that, but then it's like, oh yeah, I don't have the time. So
don't have time. Yeah, because I was gonna say how much like obviously, you know, you're playing bass and then you do vocals as well, like, and then so, and like how much of these projects are you doing lyrics for as well? And like you've just said quite a lot by the sounds of it.
Yeah, I mean, and also too, like with the Locust stuff, I mean, it's super slow. I mean, we only have a couple new songs, but like there's 3 of us that write lyrics in the band, so it's pretty easy when it does come to time for me to write the lyrics. It's like, oh, I'll write this one right now, you know. But like,
so how do you like disassociate, you know, kind of disassociate yourself from like each project when you go in writing the lyrics for different things? Do you have like a
sort of, I mean,
like a crazy, like, this is my Dead Cross like writing brain, this is like, you know, like how do you kind of like go to make sure that you're not writing exactly the same similar shit for each project? Like you
mean like like on bass or vocals,
like just lyric writing?
Yeah, like, well, like on the Dead Cross LP, like I didn't write any of the vocals are the lyrics, but Patton needed some song titles, and I was like, oh, here's a bunch of shit that I have like just a stuff that I like refer to all the time, and I'm like, here, check this out. Do you want to use any of this? So like,
Like just
like
like notebooks and stuff.
yeah, but like
Mm.
the future has been canceled. You know, like that's just like he was like, oh yeah, I'll use that as a title, and like I don't know what other titles I gave him, but anyhow, so like we were just like throwing out like ideas, but with the other stuff, like okay, like Def Club and Planet B, like the lyric topics and the shit I say and like how I say it, it's very similar. I mean, we're both bands are like, even though they're not the same musically
Yeah.
and they're not the same people, we're all from the same mindset. We're all like kind of like, you know, like on the same page or whatever, you know. So
Yeah,
so
yeah.
like so it's you could almost like throw the lyrics from one band to the other, but the thing is like with specifically like with Planet B, it's structured like hip hop. So it's like in these 16 bars and then there's a chorus. So it's like a verse, chorus, and then like a bridge or whatever. And so it's very sort of like musically. I don't want to say this in like a negative way, but it's like very musically typical or obvious. Like it's always
Yeah.
like it's usually for the most part like 16 bar pieces, and then so with like Def Club, it's just like I don't know what the fuck is going on. It's like random weird shit, and like
Yeah.
you know, and it's a good point is like I always struggle with those guys, like because they'll write majority of the music in Los Angeles, and then they'll kind of like they're really cool about me saying like, hey, make this longer or do this or do that, and but for the most part, like you know, it's like I don't think they think like a singer. So I have problems like with the new record. I think it's next level, like, well, whatever. Our EP is like we kind of farted it out, and now we have an LP that we're working on, and the LP, like I struggle with certain songs, like hey, like I don't know where the like vocals should and should not go because it's just fucking insane shit, and like
Yeah, yeah.
you know, and like you want to, for me, like as a singer, you know, I want to find some sort of melody or like I don't want to just like randomly scream shit on every part or whatever. So it's
Yeah.
tricky to like try to redefine and refine like what sort of like like whatever, I don't know, like the structure of a song. It's not normal. There's no
Yeah.
someone can't look at it and be like, oh, that's the chorus. They're just like,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
just
It's
know.
like, yeah.
It's just shit. It's like math, you know. I mean, it is. It's like just some like
Yeah, yeah.
crazy equation, and you're like, okay, you know. And so it's funny because for me, I'm always like telling them like I'm really some of their background musically like is like D beat kind of like stuff, like crust punk, and I'm like, that's the jam, dude. I want to do that kind of shit. I've never done that before, and they're like, no. And I'm like, that's what people like, and like, you know, I can wrap my head around it real easily, and like just do that, and that, you know. So we struggle where they want to be like super technical, and I'm all for that. Obviously,
Yeah.
like with Locust stuff in the past, it's been just like bizarre. So I get it, but at the same time, I'm like Def Club to me seems like a hardcore band, but it's like some fucking weird futuristic next level shit, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
Just
Like
trying
it's
to
more
figure
like
out.
every single song like musically is like quite complex. So
I
you
mean,
have
it's not.
to,
I mean, I guess it is, but at the end of the day, like,
but for you to try and like figure out, you got to figure out each song individually and like how it's going to
sure,
fit.
but like
Mm.
complex to me is like Orth Realm. Like, I don't know if you're
Yeah,
familiar with Orth Realm, but I'm like,
yeah, yeah,
what the fuck is going on? Like, how do you know?
yeah,
I don't know, you know, and I get it. Like, there's sometimes where I can watch Orthon play, like when they would tour with Locust, and there's little cues. There'll be like this like tom roll thing, and that's like the cue to switch, or you know, something
yeah,
like,
yeah,
you know. But like for the most part, I'm just like, dude, this is some shit that I can't wrap my head around. So
yeah,
maybe like if someone's not in Def Club, they're like, what the fuck is going on? But like when you're in it, you know, I'm like, there's this is the structure, and we
this
get
is, yeah, yeah. I've seen like a ton of bands like that where I've like watched them, especially I find especially if there's no vocals and you're
yeah,
like, that's the hard one. Like I'll be like watching them and trying to figure it out. Like,
yeah,
you know, and like sometimes you'll see like a weird side eye, you
yeah,
know, like, and
yeah,
you'll be like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Now then, you know, and like, you know, they play like full set, don't talk, nothing in between, and they just play flat like for like 50 minutes, you know,
Yeah.
and like no vocals, no, there's just no way. And I'm just like, how the fuck are they doing this?
Yeah.
Like, how do they know that they're going to that bit
It's
and that bit?
vocal
It's just,
it's visual cues. Like it really is,
yeah,
because I mean we did that in the Locust too, because for so long people would just talk shit to us, and so we you know, like we bridged all of our songs together so no one could speak to us,
yeah,
and so we would have to, like, you know, and we'd also set up in a line so we could see Gabe, so, and he would kind of be the one doing things. So there's like parts
yeah,
that we would have in our songs that, you know, again, there's no vocals, there's no way to cue anybody in except like his, you know, he'll exaggerate like a hit, you know, and you're
something,
like,
yeah,
okay, like there's the one, you know, we'll all come
yeah,
in. So those are the things that if you're not at rehearsal and you're not discussing it and you're not aware that like this is where he's gonna cue me in,
yeah,
the audience has no fucking idea, which is cool. I like
yeah.
watching bands do that. It's great, you
Mm.
know.
Because you kind of just you just sit back and you're like, it's this huge puzzle piece, and they're just like, and you're like watching, like in, like, you know, if you're not someone who's like super musically inclined or, you know, whatever, you're just like sitting there. I mean, I've seen some crazy shit where I've just been like, I don't even understand how you guys play a song, let
Well,
alone.
you know what's
Like,
a good example is Phantomos, because we toured
yeah,
with them, and like for most of their things like aren't really like songs. They're just like these
yeah,
chunks, and it's the same kind of thing. Like I think if you rehearse it, you can wrap your head around it. But like
yeah,
for us on tour, even like even being on tour with them for like, I don't know, a month or however long it was, every night we're like, dude, this is fucking wild, because they would switch their set around and then like play it. And but again, like a thing that they did too, the Locust took a cue from was like the way they set up. So like it's not like our drummer's behind us and we have no fucking idea what's happening.
what's going on? Yeah,
The drummer is right up where everybody else can see, and that's a thing. If you're gonna play technical music, to be able to visually see all the other players without having to like to turn around, because that sucks to turn around. And I have this
yeah,
problem as a vocalist in bands. Like I struggle because I don't want to, like, when you're performing, I don't want to have to like
turn your
completely
back.
turn around to go like,
Mm.
oh shit, there's the one, or there's where I should come in
Yeah,
vocally. So it is something that to like, I don't know, like I sort of reevaluate so what, like a good example is like, I mean, Def Club's only played a few shows, and then you know the pandemic happened, but there was a few times where we would play and I would make a note on my set list like, okay, this song I should step back so I can see Scott from my peripheral vision, so I can see when a hit comes in. So it's, instead of me like turn around and look, you know, because like
yeah,
I'm trying to perform in a professional manner, you know, or whatever to some
yeah.
extent. So like I don't know, like, because I do kind of trip out on bands that just all stare at each other and you're like, this is weird, you know, like.
Yeah, when they're like they're just stare like yeah,
Yeah.
and or there's lots, like, you know, there's some bands like that, you know, at least two members are constantly facing
Sure.
away, and you're like, it sounds amazing, but I'm seeing you live, and I kind of want to see your face at
Yeah.
least, you know,
Yeah. Well,
like, so
like
it
that's
is.
a funny example is like when Swing Kids would play, our drummer Jose is a jazz drummer, so it was really like insane to kind of work with him. And so like I played with him early on in bands, and then later on when we kind of did stuff again, we did like these reunion shows. It was a trip because I had been used to working with Gabe Serbian for so long, and
Yeah,
who's very like, I don't mean this in a negative way towards Jose, but Gabe is very dependable as far as the rhythm. And so like looking at Jose, it's not fluid. It's not like
yeah,
it's not linear. So it was like this sort of fucked up weird jazz thing. And you're like, holy shit, I have no idea where the one is. I'm pretty sure he doesn't know where the one is. And like, we all have to figure this out. And that was a
yeah,
cool thing to kind of learn. I'll be honest, I don't prefer it because, again, like as a singer, I would have to turn around and be like, dude, where the fuck are we? When are we coming in? Or what? Like, what is going on? Where is this? You know? But like, I also kind of like the anarchy of that is also appealing in the sense that like you don't really know what's
gonna
I
happen.
don't
Yeah,
know. You don't know
yeah,
what's going on. I mean, there was like one of the craziest things I'd ever experienced was when Swing Kids were playing at the Eperfest in like, I don't know what year this was, 95 or something. And it was like this weird hardcore festival, and there was a bunch of kind of shitty bands playing, and we were like the oddballs, and like it was like there was like this sort of like weird vibe, you know, like it was like us against them. Of course, like the crowd that like got it, we were like.
Lost you for a minute.
Back. You there? Okay, sorry.
Yes.
Anyhow, so I remember, and everything got super fucked up, and I no one knew where the one was. No one really knew what was going on, and I just remember like, I don't know. I can't explain it without you having to, like, if you weren't there, you didn't,
yeah.
But like,
you just missed it. Yeah.
Jose got it, and I just remember Eric, the guitar player, just fucking losing it, like just like screaming, like yeah, like just like yeah, you know, like he had like it, like something happened, like telepathy, and we all connected, and that was like a rare moment, and it was also like this huge lesson for me to like see that and like experience that. Oh shit, we connected on this thing that was total chaos, you know, and like that was really important, I think. So it's rare that that ever happens in anything I do, because usually it's super calculated. So yeah, it was like free jazz, but like we pulled something off. Anyhow, there's that.
Yeah. So there's a question here about if there will be any update on the release of the Don't Fall in Love with Yourself doco. A few people have asked.
Yeah, so the film company that made it was gonna come out and film a couple more interviews and some other stuff, and the pandemic happened, so they canceled everything.
Of course.
So the film, like, so there's like a rough of the movie, but they needed to like interview, I think one of the people was Joey from the Locust, and then because the thing is, like, when we did the film, when they interviewed me for it, the Locust hadn't played in man, like, I don't know, maybe like 9 years, or a long time. We hadn't played in like a long time. So like we recorded the thing, they made an edit of the film, and then the Locust started playing again. And so it seemed kind of weird. And so and also Joey wasn't in the doc, so they were going to come interview him, and I forgot who else they were going to interview. And then the pandemic happened, but they're still, I mean, it's going to happen. It's
just a matter of when.
It's kind of a weird thing to like go like, hey, there's this movie that's about me or whatever.
Yeah.
It's totally strange to me, but like it became something once it got like put together. It became something that I think that none of us were like expecting, you know. And so it became like less about like me specifically and more about the things that me and my friends and family created. So it was like it almost seemed like more about 31G than me or whatever, you know. So I don't know. But it is like, I'll say this, like, the doc is pretty rad. I'm excited for it. I'm grateful for it, and I'm also grateful that like I don't want to talk shit, but like if you look at like certain things, like there's like this like that Refused DVD that came out. It's just so like sensational and like emotional, and it's like we were like the best fucking hardcore band, and it's like you're just a hardcore band, and I'm glad that like this documentary kind of just like, I'm just some fucking dude that has no idea most of the time what's going on, you know, and like it's like me and my friends just did some shit, and some people like it, some people hate it, and like we're psyched, like, cool, fuck you, fuck us, whatever. Like, I don't know, like it doesn't matter, you know. Like,
you watch it if you want to, if you don't, you won't.
I mean, and like I don't know like if it'll make the cut, but there's like rad shit in it, like where they interviewed my mom, and my mom's wearing a fucking Locust mask for no reason, and she's like,
oh my god, that's amazing.
You know,
I was going to mention her as it, but yeah, keep going.
But they were like talking to her about like, you know, how, like, you know, whatever, like, how was it like seeing his musical career, you know, I don't know, career, you know, and she's like, well, you know, I would drive him to, you know, practice all the time and this and that. And then she's like, but now his band Dead Cross seems very successful, you know? And she's like, I really like, you know, Mike Crane and the drummer Dave Lombardo, and like, but I don't think I like the singer very much, you know. And I'm like, it's so rad, like that's
Yeah.
and that's fucking cool. And like, I think even like, I think Patton would like that, you know. And like,
Yeah,
but
he
like,
probably would.
what real band is gonna be like, let's have my mom talk shit about like the thing that like most people care about, you know, like the fucking
Yeah.
singer who's the dude from Faith No More. Like here
Yeah.
my mom is being like, you know, and I'm like,
I was
that's
gonna
rad.
say that's awesome. Yeah, because it's kind of like a that. I mean, it's an amazing thing, obviously, to be in something with Patton, but I also like feel like it can also be a thorn in your side that kind of follows you because it's like it becomes Patton, like, and everyone,
Uh, no, no, no.
he's got like a cult army,
Yeah,
like.
I mean, this cold army's kind of weird sometimes, but like, I think it's, I'm fucking psyched. That guy's hilarious. Like, I
Yeah,
really enjoy.
I liked his all I really like his weird solo stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
all the weird noises and all that sort of stuff. Like I had a housemate that used to play that stuff religiously. He was
Yeah.
definitely a Patton Army person.
Well,
Um,
I mean, it's funny, like to like see. I mean, I already know him pretty well. Or I knew him pretty
mm,
well, but like, it's funny to like go on tour and like, you know, he's got this voice that's like the witch voice. It sounds like a
yeah,
witch burn, and so like, I'm pretty sure that like when we look out at the audience and there's like, you can kind of tell like the normal people, they're like, oh, they're here because he's the guy from Faith No More. And
yeah,
then the witch voice comes out, or like, you know, that's like not, I'm sure they're like, fuck this, you know, like I'm sure there's like a good portion of people that paid to see us are like, why the fuck am I here? And I think that's rad.
yeah,
Or like, you know, we'll be driving and Pat will be like, dude, let's do a Gigi Allen cover. Let's do Suck My Ass It Smells. You know, like, I don't, I don't know if anybody's gonna get that, you know, but like,
yeah, yeah,
sure,
yeah,
why not? Like, let's do that. And I'm pretty sure like most people will be like, fuck that. Like, and
yeah, yeah,
it's funny. It's really funny to me, and it's funny to me and Patton. I don't know, like some of the because he's a prankster, and I like that shit too a lot. I like fucking with people, but
yeah,
I don't know if the other half of the band likes fucking with people, but maybe not
yeah.
quite as much.
Much,
So
yeah, yeah, yeah. I kind of like it. Like, there's part. I mean, yeah, there's kind of parts where I feel like, yeah, he's definitely comes across as someone who likes to like not piss people off, but really like just do shit for the fun of it, and like, and if it's gonna like ruffle feathers, he really doesn't give a fuck, and I like that.
well, he also is in the place where he
He
can
can
like
do it.
he can, you know, it's like, oh, you know, you're still gonna like get a paycheck or a royalty check.
Yeah,
Where it's
yeah,
like, me and Mike Crane are like, we're fucking working really shitty, weird jobs and shit, and we're like,
yeah,
hey,
yeah,
like, we're gonna have to figure out a way to pay our bills. You know,
yeah, yeah,
we can't fall
yeah,
back on royalties from whatever.
yeah,
Anyhow,
yeah, yeah, yeah. I was gonna say someone mentioned a funny comment, which was for the queue. This is what Locust. The queue is when Gabe pukes in the bucket.
uh,
I love.
none of us prefer the barfing. Like, especially him. It's weird because the cue is like he'll throw up and then be like, we're done. Like, I'm doing one more
Yeah,
song. We're
that's it.
fucking
Yeah,
done. And we're
yeah,
like, dude,
yeah,
our set is so short. We got to play more. But once he barfs, he's done, you know? So it's,
yeah. Because have you ever seen I don't know whether you like them or not, but the Bronx, like when they used to have Jorma as the drummer, he
yeah.
vomits non-stop from the start to the end.
Yeah.
He constantly has a bucket, and I'd be like, oh shit, he's gonna vom. Here it comes again. Like,
It's,
because every time they come like over, like I'll always be like, on the side of the stage watching because they've just always been mates, and yeah, and I'm like, oh fuck the bucket. It's just like it's
yeah.
nuts.
It
Like that he like
stinks and it, like, gets everywhere.
yeah, but like did it get so that they're going so hard that it's
Um,
like I'm fucking gonna bomb
I think it's a
everywhere.
bunch of different. I mean, for Gabe, it's like it's funny too because like I think initially people are like, the dude's been partying. You're like, no, 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 no.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, no,
motherfuckers
no.
don't play like that, and then
Mm-mm.
you know, or party and then go play like that. It's, I
Yeah,
mean, it's usually like stress and anxiety, and then like an overexertion. Like, if I mean,
yeah,
fuck, I could not do what he does. I would barf
yeah,
too. Fuck, like that guy
yeah,
plays like insane shit, and so, um, it makes sense why he pukes, you know. Like, I
yeah,
mean, he's one of the best drummers ever, and he's brilliant and he's smart and he like knows how to not puke, but it's like sometimes he just can't breathe or can't,
yeah,
you know, something happens, you know, like.
yeah, and you just gotta, yeah, yeah.
So it sucks. It sucks for all of us. It sucks for him the most, but it sucks. It
Yeah.
smells really bad, and I don't know. Like, yeah.
You just, yeah, I'd be like, you just stand as close to the like audience, get that waft of them,
Oh yeah. Like
like, and try
the
and
last,
not get that.
I think maybe
I'm a
a couple
bomb
shows
by
ago.
association.
Wait, sorry, what?
I'm like a bomb by association. So like, if I was like standing too close, I'd be like, I'm gonna bomb now too.
Yeah.
So like,
What's that movie that like everyone starts throwing up? Is it like?
oh, it's in Stand By Me, the pie eating
Yeah.
contest.
I would
Yeah, it's
kind
like
of be
that.
in
That's
that.
me.
If that
Like it's like,
actually happened in shows, I think we would probably be like, let's do that and make everybody barf. But
it'd
the
be
last,
something. It'd be fucking an amazing show, like an amazing show to talk about. This one show, and we all just fucking barfed everywhere, and then everyone was barfed. Because as soon
yeah,
as someone does that, like, you know, they're like that's when I start doing that like thing, and then they'd be like, oh, it's all over.
yeah, yeah. I'm good without being around barf. I worked at this bar for 8 years, and it was like I quit when I turned 40 because I was like getting really sick of like cleaning up after 21-year-olds. I'm like, dude, no
Yeah,
one's ever cleaned up my puke except my mom, and like
yeah,
I'm not gonna clean up another person's barf. Like it's fucking disgusting. So like I feel
yeah.
for the people at the venues, you know, like
Oh yeah,
damn, you got to clean that stage, like because the guy barfed on it, you know.
yeah, yeah. At least like, yeah, like Gabe and like, you know, and yeah, like Joma from Bronx would have a bucket.
Yeah,
It was like big
but
way of bucket. I need to have a bucket, like,
yeah,
because it's definitely gonna happen. So I was like, let's just have it there, and then you don't have to worry about, yeah, bombing
I
all over the
barfed.
stage.
Actually, I barfed in Australia on stage with the bloody beetroots.
Amazing.
Yeah, that was a bummer. I fucking threw up everywhere. But I get chronic migraines, and so they get so
So do
bad.
I.
I barf.
The bomb. Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Oh, that's so bad. So you were in the middle of a song, and then you just stop
no,
and
I
barf,
only
or
did like I only sang like chunks of their set, and so I went off and barfed, and then came back and sang again. It was a bummer for me.
yeah, yeah,
I didn't.
yeah. I can imagine.
I did it like off stage in the grass and like
Well, that's kind of a bit better. Yeah, at least.
yeah yeah yeah.
Yeah. Sorry about the bomb. Everyone's like, oh, bomb. Yeah. I'm not afraid of bomb or pierce or shit or anything. I'm just like, ah. Nothing makes me feel sick. I'm one of those people where you can talk about like anything, and you know, someone will be like, oh, Renee, I'm fucking eating.
Oh
And
yeah
I'll be like, nothing bothered. Yeah, I'll talk about just about anything over
yeah.
dinner. um, yeah. What was I gonna say? Yeah, like I don't think we ever like have like I was trying to think if because I had a lot of questions like a few days ago about whether any of the bands were ever going to come to Oz. If
I
there's
would
ever
love
been,
to. I've only been there twice, and it's awesome. And I think I'm up for whatever, you know. But
yeah,
someone's got to book us and shit. You know, like
yeah, yeah,
otherwise. The Locust was supposed to, and some dude just pulled the plug and kept everybody's money or something. It was fucked up.
mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah, that shit. So who
Yeah.
did you come over with the two times?
I came up the first time I went was with some girls.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Right after we released Heaven's Pregnant Teens,
Yep.
and then I came back with the Bloody Beetroots and did a bunch
yeah.
of stupid shit with them, and then that was it. So
Yeah.
I've only been there twice, and not even with like one of my real bands.
Yeah,
You know?
just like, yeah, just as that was. Mm. Yeah, because I think, yeah, because I don't know, like the special, I guess like Australia has like a crazy like love of particularly hardcore, but like a crazy love of like for some girls, and American Nightmare are huge here. And so and anything Patton does, like
I think like
so
some of
it's
the
like
people, yeah, I think like some of the people live there now. or maybe they like have, I don't know. Some of the people in Faith No More, sorry. I think
Yeah,
like
yeah,
they were there or something. Anyhow, I really like it, and I would love to come back. So if there's a promoter that's seeing this, like, please
yeah.
book any of my bands. I'll go there.
Yes. Yeah, you can do two. Chuck two together
Yeah.
and whack them all on. It'd be awesome. Just like that's the best way is like trying to get like a package almost when it comes to Australia.
Oh yeah,
Because
yeah.
you can, yeah, it's so much easier to get someone to book. Because I find, like you said, with Locust, like, yes, there's quite a lot of shitty promoters here. So,
I mean,
yeah,
I
you
have
gotta
no
come in.
complaints for the two tours that I did there, but it's pretty rare, I guess. It's expensive, you know, you have to fly from show to show and stuff. So
Yeah, yeah.
I think like that might be a problem for the Locust because we have a lot
There
of
we go.
gear. What?
Yeah, someone's
Oh,
just said that the guy from that bar from Mr. Bungle lives in Australia.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like yeah, having lots of instruments and like lots of band members and stuff like that is always um yeah, logistically a weird thing and
Sure. Yeah.
hard to do. So
Yeah.
you've got to find like the right promoter who's like fine with doing that kind of like who doesn't have an issue and like is cool to pay for your flights as
Yeah.
well because that's like something that always comes up. Like
Yeah.
oh, the artist can pay for their flights, and
Yeah.
it's like so you're basically paying to fucking play. It's stupid because then
Yeah.
you know
But I mean, if you did it like in conjunction with like a Japanese tour or something, it seems like it would work.
yeah
I mean, that's the only
yeah
way some girls were able to do it. So we were
yeah
like on a
that's
big
what a lot of
festival.
people do.
Yeah, like we had a big festival in Australia, and that kind of anchored it. And then we did a bunch of regular shows, and then we went to Japan. So it worked out, and it was awesome. But yeah, that was a long time ago. So anyhow, I'm ready to come back.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So anyone watching, bring one of them back.
Any
Yeah. Has anyone? I'll just see if anyone has anyone else got any questions specifically for JP that they want to ask. See if they can come on.
they liked the VOM talk.
They really did like the bomb talk. Your but I was gonna say like I was gonna ask you about your mom. Like yeah, like what like you know obviously are you guys back like you moved out and all that sort of stuff but now you're clearly like your relationship is fairly solid and your
Oh,
mom
she's fantastic. Yeah, my
knows
mom
all
is a
that
singer actually. Yeah, yeah, she's
yeah
rad. Totally inspiring. I mean, she's a pain in the ass sometimes, but so am I. So it's like
yeah exactly
how it should be, I guess. But yeah, she's rad, and like you know, like it's cool when she goes and sees me play shows and like you know, I mean, she loves all my bandmates and my friends and stuff. It's just like another.
except Patton.
I mean, I think she likes Patton too, but she just, I don't know what it was. I'm not sure. I mean, she's only met him once, you know. But the
Yeah
thing is,
yeah
like, when she saw Dead Cross play, Gabe came to the show and we did a song with both of them to get like separately the
yeah
same song, but each of them sang it their own. And my mom loves Gabe, so I think she was just
yeah
like, I like Gabe, you know, like
yeah yeah
you know, I like he's the better singer, you know. And it's like,
yeah
mom,
yeah
yeah. Anyhow, it is what it is.
it is what it is yeah um someone's asking when DC2 is dropping.
I, I mean, we recorded it January, February, December, January, February. All the drums, bass, and guitars done. So we're waiting for Patton, and I think I don't know how far along he is, but that's what we're waiting for, vocals. And then once
Yeah.
he gets everything recorded or written, he wants me to sing on it too. So then I have to, you know, get back in the studio.
That's cool though. I reckon that'll be interesting. Like that'll be a really like an interesting thing having both of you singing. So
I sang
I'm
I sang a bit on the EP. Well, it's only 2 songs, but I sang on
yeah
that stuff. But I think he's like really getting into like making it like as hardcore as possible. So like he's referring to all these bands like that have like, you know, backup singers like in a hardcore band or whatever. So
yeah
and I mean, I guess you kind of see it like in the Black Flag cover we did, Rise Above. I mean, there's
yeah
most of the song is backup vocals, you know. So I think